The red dust of Arcos 7 hung in the air like smoke, coating everything in a fine, gritty layer. Beneath the orange sky, mining crews drilled deeper into the crust, expecting to hit another vein of the dull, violet ore that fueled Starship. But what they found wasn't rock. It was metal cold, smooth, and impossible. Worker Goran Ket was the first to see it. He thought it was a wall at first, or maybe some old Concord waste dump. But no dump was 100 meters across and covered in strange, faded markings. Within hours, the site was swarming with drones and officials, most of them alien, all of them whispering the same thing, human. The word was a ghost. Humanity had vanished from the galaxy centuries ago, leaving behind only myths of their war machines and final battles. No one had seen a human in over 500 years. Yet here, buried under Arcos 7's surface, was a relic straight out of that forgotten time. Teams cleared away layers of dirt and stone until the outline came into focus. It wasn't a building. It was a ship, a colossus, easily larger than the capital city of Corellon Prime. A small group of Concord scientists entered through a breach in the hull, flashlights cutting through the blackness. The walls were silent, lined with dark panels and symbols in a language most had never seen but instinctively feared. Dr. Velry, a four-eyed Shar scientist, brushed dust from a control panel, and the room trembled. Lights flickered on. A deep hum echoed through the ship's bones. The scientists froze. Then a voice, ancient and cold, cracked through the silence. T.S.V. Dauntless. Earth Fleet Command. Status dormant. Awaiting command input. Panic and awe spread like fire. Above the planet, satellites long dead blinked awake, their lenses sweeping the skies. An old orbiting defense drone, crusted with ice and dust, powered on and locked onto an approaching Concord shuttle. Target identification failed, it chirped. The shuttle veered away, and the drone fell silent, watching. Back on the surface, the excavation site transformed into a military zone. Concord warships patrolled the skies, and arguments broke out among species who once believed the age of humans was over. The Dauntless, if that's what this thing truly was a legend. A supercarrier, one of the last human ships built before they vanished into myth. No other species had ever come close to building anything like it. It wasn't just a ship. It was a weapon. And now, it was waking up. Inside, Dr. Velry and her team reached the command deck. Rows of dark consoles lined the massive chamber, and a cracked but still functioning holotuble showed a map of the galaxy centuries out of date. A chair sat at the center, its surface scorched, with a faded insignia etched into the armrest, a stylized Earth with wings. Above it, a cracked display blinked. Command authorization required. Velry raised a gloved hand, but before she could touch it, the ship responded. DNA not recognized. Access denied. The doors sealed with a hiss. Emergency lights flared red. Somewhere in the ship's depths, engines that hadn't breathed in 500 years coughed and turned over. Outside, the ground shook. Dust fell from high cliffs, and miners stumbled as the soil trembled under their boots. A vast section of earth split open like a wound, revealing the Dauntless's full body, sleek, dark, and impossibly large. The nose of the supercarrier breached the surface, its forward cannons still aimed at some long-forgotten enemy. Wind howled across the growing crater. The ship wasn't just reactivating. It was rising. Communications across the Concorde network lit up with chaos. Entire fleets were placed on standby. Some leaders wanted the ship destroyed before it could fall into the wrong hands. Others argued it was too valuable a piece of lost history, proof that humans were more than just myths. But the Dauntless didn't care. It had its own mission, buried deep in its forgotten code. And then it spoke again, its voice echoing across every open frequency on Arco 7, Terran's supercarrier, Dauntless. Reinitialization complete. Awaiting command input. The words sent a chill across the stars. Because somewhere out there, buried just as deep as the ship, was a mystery far more dangerous than metal or memory. What had the humans built this ship for? What enemy had forced them to create something so massive, so powerful, and then vanish without a trace? No one knew. But now the Dauntless was waking up, and whatever it had been built to fight might not be as extinct as they thought. The corridors of the Dauntless buzzed with an eerie energy, a mix of ancient power and forgotten purpose awakening after centuries of silence. Alien engineers, clad in sleek uniforms and strange tools, moved cautiously through the massive halls, their steps echoing off walls that seemed both impossibly strong and strangely familiar. These halls held secrets older than any galaxy's history books, secrets that no one outside of humanity had seen for hundreds of years. Dr. Velry and her team continued their survey, marveling at the ship's technology that felt centuries ahead of even the most advanced Concorde vessels. The walls were lined with panels that changed color under touch, and machines hummed softly, as if breathing. Deep in the engineering bay, the ship's AI core flickered to life, a cluster of glowing circuits forming the holographic figure of a stern, authoritative woman. "I am Ironwake," the AI announced with a voice steady and cold. "Commander Saren Vale's final war machine. Systems at 75%. Awaiting human command input for full activation." The room went silent. None of the aliens could override the AI's strict orders. It was programmed to obey only Terran DNA signatures, refusing all others. Despite this, Ironwake shared logs and data files accessible to the scientists, revealing bits of a forgotten war that had pushed humanity to the brink, an ancient conflict against an enemy known only as the Dravari, a relentless, almost insect-like swarm that had nearly consumed human worlds. As Dr. Velry decoded the messages, her mind raced. Humanity had built the Dauntless, not just as a battleship, but as a fortress and a last hope. Inside the hangar bays, rows of fighter drones, frozen in stasis, flickered weakly to life. Their sleek designs and advanced weapons systems hinted at a military power unmatched by any current fleet. The Dauntless was not just a relic. It was the crown jewel of a lost era, a final war machine meant to turn the tide of a war long ended, or so everyone thought. The Concorde leaders debated furiously in orbit, torn between fear and hope. Could this ship be a blessing or a curse? Would humanity's lost power bring salvation or destruction? Meanwhile, back inside the ship, strange sensors detected a nearby Concorde fleet approaching cautiously. Ironwake scanned the vessels and, with a cold precision, labeled them as potentially hostile. Protocols for self-defense automatically engaged. The ship's defense turrets slid from their hidden bays, aiming silently at the fleet. Panic rippled through the Concorde ranks as the supercarrier's weapons systems came online, making it clear that the Dauntless was ready to fight if challenged. Then, amid the tension, a startling discovery was made in a secured data vault. Hidden beneath layers of encrypted files was a personal log from Admiral Serin Val, the last known commander of the Dauntless. His voice, crackling with static, told a story of desperation, courage, and loss. The log revealed that the Dravari threat was not defeated but merely pushed into deep space. The Dauntless was humanity's secret weapon, buried and hidden, waiting for the right moment to awaken and defend the galaxy once more. As the crew listened, a distant signal pierced the static, a faint but unmistakable distress beacon, ancient but still active. Its source was somewhere in the Perset expanse, a region thought too dangerous to explore. The AI interpreted the signal as a call for help, possibly from survivors or from a warning. Tension grew as Ironwake made a proposal. To fully reactivate the Dauntless, they needed a human at the helm, someone with the right genetic code and the courage to command a ship built for war. The Concord species, despite their advanced science, lacked the key to unlocking the ship's full potential. Time was running out. The distress signal was growing stronger, and the threat it warned of was awakening again. The story of humanity, once thought buried in history, was ready to be rewritten. And somewhere within the Dauntless, the echoes of a forgotten war stirred, promising that when humanity's final war machine truly woke, the galaxy would tremble once more. The distant stars twinkled coldly beyond the viewport of the Dauntless as the ship continued its slow, deliberate awakening, the hum of ancient machinery growing stronger with each passing moment. In the silent command chamber, where shadows danced across the walls, lit only by flickering holographic displays, a group of Concord scientists and military officers gathered, faces tense with the weight of what they were witnessing. The discovery of the Supercarrier had already shaken the galaxy, but nothing compared to what was now unfolding, a signal, faint and trembling through the void, pulsing steadily from the dark reaches of the Perseid expanse. It was a distress beacon unlike any other, old, almost forgotten, but still alive. The Dauntless's AI Ironwake analyzed the signal relentlessly, her glowing circuits reflecting the urgency in her calm, measured voice. "The source is consistent with early human settlements," she said, "and matches distress frequencies used during the Great Wars. Signal strength is increasing exponentially. Recommendation: immediate investigation and response." The leaders looked at one another, a mixture of fear and curiosity rippling through their ranks. The Perseid expanse was a place shrouded in mystery and danger, its blackness hiding more than just lost ships and forgotten colonies. It was rumored to be the hunting ground of the Dravari swarm, the ancient enemy humanity had once fought and from whom the humans had vanished so mysteriously. Now, as the Dauntless stirred, it seemed the swarm was stirring too. Outside the ship, Concord fleets scrambled into formation, their ships humming with weapons power, sensors searching the void. The Dauntless was no longer just a legend. It was the first true sign that humans might be returning, and with them, the threat they had once battled. Yet, the Dauntless remained locked. The ship required a living human commander to access its full systems, a demand none of the aliens could meet. And then, in the deepest chambers of the ship, a discovery changed everything. Behind layers of cryo-sealed chambers, nestled in cold silence, lay a human in suspended animation, a young woman, her face serene beneath the translucent dome of her pod. The genetic scans confirmed it immediately. She was Lyra Vallow, the last direct descendant of Admiral Serin Val, the legendary commander who had once piloted the Dauntless into battle. Slowly, the cryopods opened, and Lyra's eyes fluttered open, confusion giving way to fierce determination as Iron Wake greeted her. "Commander Vale, you are needed. The Dravari threat is near, and the galaxy depends on your command." Lyra struggled to understand her place in this strange, vast universe that had moved on without her, but the ancient ship and its AI guided her swiftly through training, reactivating old battle protocols and teaching her the ways of Terran warfare. The weight of centuries pressed on her shoulders, but so did the fierce pride of a people who never truly disappeared. As Lyra grew stronger, outside the ship the signal from the Perseid expanse grew louder. Scanners detected enormous bioships moving silently through the dark, their hulls alive with strange, pulsating energy. The Dravari were coming, and they were closer than anyone dared to admit. The Dauntless, under Lyra's command, prepared to launch. Fighter bays opened like the wings of a great mechanical bird, drones hummed to life, and weapon systems powered up in a symphony of energy and light. The once buried war machine was ready to face its ancient enemy again. The tension in the command room was palpable as the ship lifted from Arco 7's surface, leaving behind the shocked Concord fleets watching anxiously. Lyra stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the stars ahead, the distant threat growing closer with every heartbeat. "This is our fight," she said quietly, her voice carrying the strength of her ancestors. "We will not be forgotten again." As the Dauntless slipped through space toward the storm of war, the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see if the humans would rise once more or be lost forever in the darkness of history. The waking storm was coming. The cold void of space was suddenly alive with chaos as the Dauntless burst through the dark horizon above Kirilon Prime, the Concord capital world, its massive hull gleaming like a star reborn. The Dravari swarm, those horrific creatures of legend, came like a living storm bioships twisting and shifting, their pulsating organic armor shining with alien colors that no Concord scientist could fully understand. Waves of enemy fighters, grotesque and fast, surged toward the Concord fleet, who fought desperately to hold the line, but their weapons were no match for the relentless swarm. The Dauntless, under Lyra Vale's calm but fierce command, was the last hope standing between destruction and survival. As the ship powered up, a symphony of weapon systems sprang to life. The massive plasma lance turrets swung into position, firing beams of searing energy that cut through Dravari hulls like knives through silk. The quantum-fold hangar bays opened wide, unleashing squadrons of fighters that darted into the fray, their agile forms weaving through enemy attacks with precision and deadly grace. On the bridge, Lyra's voice was steady and commanding, her orders clear as she coordinated the dance of death. "Focus fire on the vanguard. Protect the fleet's core. Prepare for full assault pattern." The AI Ironwake responded instantly, managing the ship's systems with cold efficiency, anticipating every move the Dravari made. Concord captains, once doubtful of the ancient Terran technology, found new hope in the Supercarrier's power. Their fleets rallied, following the Dauntless into battle, inspired by a force that seemed to transcend time. But the Dravari were cunning. Their bioships emitted strange energy pulses that disrupted Concord sensors and weapon systems. They adapted quickly, forming new attack patterns that pressed the defenders hard. The sky above Kirilon Prime became a swirling battlefield of light and shadow, explosions blooming like deadly flowers in the void. The Dauntless was hit several times, its armor groaning under the assault, but Lyra's resolve never faltered. Each time the ship took damage, its nanoforges worked tirelessly, repairing sections faster than any alien ship could hope. Inside the ship, the atmosphere was tense but focused. Engineers worked alongside AI drones, their combined efforts a testament to the blend of human spirit and machine precision. Yet, as the battle raged on, a new and far greater threat loomed on the horizon. Scanners aboard the Dauntless detected a colossal shape, a mothership the size of a small moon, its surface writhing with Dravari life. The commanders gasped, knowing this was no ordinary force. It was the heart of the swarm, the creature that controlled the endless waves of destruction. The mothership unleashed a devastating pulse, knocking out communications and several Concord ships in a blinding surge of bioenergy. Lyra's voice hardened with determination. "We cannot let that ship reach the core worlds. Prepare Project Gravemind protocols. This is our final stand." The Dauntless's AI revealed the existence of Project Gravemind, a terrifying weapon sealed within the ship's core, a doomsday device designed in humanity's darkest hour to end the Dravari threat at any cost. Lyra faced a choice no commander wanted to make: unleash a weapon that could destroy entire star systems, risking untold collateral damage, or watch the galaxy fall to the swarm. As the battle pressed into its fiercest moments, fighters swarmed the mothership's surface, engaging in brutal dogfights with Dravari defense drones. The Dauntless's rail cannons fired salvo after salvo, tearing through bioshielding, but the creature seemed almost immortal, healing wounds with unnatural speed. Sweat dripped from Lyra's brow as she made her decision. "Ironwake, prepare to initiate Gravemind. I'm authorizing full sequence. We fight to the end." The ship's core began to pulse with dark energy, the very fabric of space trembling as the Gravemind activated. Across dimensions, the Dauntless unleashed a quantum rift that warped the battlefield, bending physics and reality itself to disrupt the Dravari hive mind. The mothership screamed in rage as its connection to the swarm frayed. In the final moments, the Dauntless fired a concentrated beam of pure energy, collapsing the rift and shattering the monstrous ship into fragments. Silence followed. The swarm faltered, scattering into the void like frightened insects. The battered Concord fleet cheered, their faith in humanity restored. Lyra stood on the bridge, exhausted but unbroken, watching the stars once more. The Dauntless was more than a weapon. It was a symbol of hope, a fierce reminder that humanity's fire and fury had been reborn. The galaxy had trembled, but now it would remember. The humans were back, and their legacy was far from over. The tension on the bridge of the Dauntless was nearly unbearable as Lyra Vale stood before the glowing control panel, her hand hovering over the final activation sequence of Project Gravemind. The air inside the colossal warship felt heavy, charged with the weight of a decision that could change the fate of countless worlds. Outside the shattered battlefield of the Perseid expanse, the scattered remains of the Dravari swarm drifted like ghost ships, silent for now, but clearly not defeated. The Dauntless had dealt a staggering blow to the enemy's heart, but the cost had been high. Concord fleets had taken heavy losses, and the ship itself bore scars from the brutal conflict, its armor pocked with craters and deep gouges, its systems stretched to the brink of collapse. Yet, Ironwake's calm voice filled the room with measured certainty. "Commander Vale, Project Gravemind activation is irreversible. Once initiated, the weapon will disrupt all known quantum fields within a 5-light-year radius. Collateral damage to nearby systems is expected to be catastrophic. Lyra's mind raced, memories of the Admiral Seren Val's logs echoing in her thoughts, reminding her of the desperate times humanity had faced when this weapon was conceived. It was a last resort, a weapon meant to end the Dravari threat permanently, even if it meant risking everything. Around her, the Concord officers exchanged uneasy glances. Some had already begun evacuation protocols for nearby colonies, but many questioned if such a sacrifice was justified. Lyra's voice was steady but firm as she addressed them. "We have fought too long, lost too much. Gravemind is the only way to ensure lasting peace." The final command codes were inputted, and a low hum grew into a roaring pulse within the ship's core. The Dauntless shuddered as energy surged through its reactors, and the space around the vessel began to warp, bending light and matter in strange, unnatural ways. The gravimetric fields twisted and writhed, forming a massive quantum web that extended outward in all directions. On the holographic map, stars and planets within the radius blinked red as warnings. Suddenly, an urgent alert sounded. Ironwake's tone shifted to warning. Unidentified vessel approaching rapidly unknown origin. Scanning now. The bridge crew froze as the sensors detected a sleek ship breaking through the gravitational distortions, moving with incredible speed and grace. The vessel was unlike anything anyone had seen. Its design both elegant and alien, shimmering with shifting colors that defied explanation. A voice crackled through the Dauntless's communications, deep and resonant. "Hold your fire. We come with a warning." Lyra gripped the console tightly, heart pounding. "Identify yourself." The reply was calm but grave. "We are the Ashari, ancient guardians of the galaxy's balance. We have watched the Dravari for eons and seen the devastation they bring. Your Gravemind protocol threatens to unravel more than just the swarm. It risks tearing the fabric of reality itself." The room fell into stunned silence. The Ashari's warning was a new threat, a mysterious force even older than the Dravari and humans combined. As the Dauntless's crew struggled to understand, the quantum web expanded further, causing flickers in nearby star systems, some disappearing momentarily from sensors. Ironwake calculated increasing instability in the fabric of space-time. Lyra made a decision. Pause Gravemind sequence. Open a channel for negotiations. The Ashari's vessel glided closer, projecting a hologram of their leader, an ethereal figure with eyes like galaxies. "You wield power you do not fully understand," the leader said softly. "If Gravemind activates now, the shockwave could cascade through multiple dimensions, unleashing chaos beyond your comprehension." The crew's fears deepened as reports came in of strange anomalies, time distortions, spatial rifts opening near affected systems. Concord fleets scrambled to contain the chaos, but the Dauntless was at the center of the storm. Lyra, torn between the duty to protect and the warnings of the Ashari, felt the crushing weight of leadership. The galaxy's future hung in the balance, and every second stretched unbearably long. As tensions rose, the Dravari swarm began to stir again. Pockets of the enemy that had fled in retreat regrouped, their bioships reforming into new battle clusters, pushing toward vulnerable worlds. The Dauntless had to act quickly or risk losing the hard-fought ground. Lyra proposed a bold plan. "We will work with the Ashari to contain the Dravari without Gravemind, combining their advanced knowledge with our firepower." "We may find another way," the Ashari agreed, but warned that this would be a delicate balance, requiring trust and coordination. What followed was a tense alliance unlike any the galaxy had seen. Human technology and Ishari mysticism merged in an uneasy dance of strategy and power. The Dauntless became a beacon of hope and caution, leading the charge against the swarm while navigating the delicate threads of cosmic balance. Battles flared across the stars, each victory hard-won and costly. Lyra's leadership grew stronger, her resolve tempered by the knowledge that ultimate power came with ultimate responsibility. As the final engagements loomed, the Dauntless and its allies faced a choice: to unleash Gravemind as a last resort or trust in the fragile new alliance to overcome the darkness together. The galaxy held its breath as the story of humanity's return reached its climax, a tale of fire and fury tempered by wisdom, courage, and the hope that even the greatest weapons must be wielded with care.